I'm going to go through this real quickly, and then I'm going to share a story, and then I'm going to end. And I'm sorry for being a little bit long-winded. Here we go. 10 things. 10 things, but I'm going to go quick. If you want to share the Christ effectively with the world, preparation. Be prepared for the conversations you're going to have. Don't go in blindsided. I prepare for lessons. I prepare lesson plans. And sometimes I don't feel like I prepared enough, but I try to prepare. Paul was prepared for the conversations with this crowd. Second, persuasiveness. Sharing our faith should be persuasive. It should be compelling to others. They should realize the truth of God. It should stir their hearts. It should have an emotional response, okay? Persuasiveness. You're not manipulating people, but you are magnifying Christ. Christ be magnified in me, that you might be exalted and draw all men to yourself. Okay. Persistence. Don't give up the first time you're rejected. I heard a statistic said you have to invite someone on average 7 times to church before they come. Some of us give up after the first or second time. 7 times. Persistence. You might share your faith with someone. You might plant seeds and say, "Oh, that didn't work." That don't mean don't plant seeds again. It's just say change your approach. And then prayer. You want to pray. The process of prayer. So it's not our last resort. It's our greatest resource. We need to pray that the Holy Spirit fill us, that God would enlighten our minds and our understanding, that we might share the gospel in a way that person might be prepared to receive it in their heart. I'll pray in the morning, God, as people are getting ready for church, may you ready their hearts to receive a word from you this morning. Proclamation. Anytime you see the word filled with the Holy Spirit in the Bible, anytime you see that word filled, you will see after it boldly witnessing, speaking. We have changed being filled with the Spirit as a focus on the Holy Spirit, and maybe our conduct changing. Like, we might run around, we might do something, but no. In the Bible, every time you see the word filled, boldly witnessing comes after it. There's a direct connection there. You'll see it in your discipleship groups. Proclaiming the gospel is what the Holy Spirit is here to do. The Holy Spirit is not saying, "Look at me." If you're ever, I'm trying to be so careful. Okay, if you're around believers who are only talking about the Holy Spirit, but they're not talking about Christ, it's like Charles Spurgeon once said. He said, "When I focus on Christ, the dove flies in. But when I focus on the dove, Christ disappears." What he's saying is the Holy Spirit comes to testify about Jesus. He is here to exalt Jesus. He is here to form Christ in us. He's here to proclaim the gospel to the world around us. He's here to speak the language of those. There's sometimes that I will leave the platform and I'm like, "Oh, that message could have went so much better," and I beat myself up. And then someone will come to me and say, "Wow, that is just what I needed, Pastor. When you were talking about this," that's the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit took me, just my words coming out and just falling. I'm like, "Oh no, I bored them to death." And then someone says, "It changed my life. It helped me. It blessed me." That's the Holy Spirit. All right? Proclamation, personalization, effective evangelism comes when we personalize the gospel. In the classroom, we call it differentiated instruction. How I meet your needs is differently how I meet your needs, and how I meet your needs, and how I meet your needs. But it's the same message, just different methods. It's not one student, but a lot of different students. Patience. Sharing our faith requires patience, recognizing that spiritual transformation takes time. Proximity. We should seek to share Christ with those that God has put close to us, yet are far from God. Proximity. Let me hurry here. Power. We cannot go in our human strength. We must rely on the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit gives us power to proclaim. Purpose. When we wake up in the morning, we must declare purpose in our lives. What is the purpose of my life? To pursue Him, to please Him, to proclaim Him for the praise of His glory. That's the ultimate purpose, to go to all nations and proclaim His name. Go everywhere and show everyone the good news of the gospel. A church that is not sharing the gospel is playing into the enemy's hands.